back, everybody. Josh RV Nerd with Bish's RV back once again. As though I would be anywhere else. This is basically where I live. Sorry, anyway. Welcome back. 16BHS Cherokee Wolf Pup here for you today. Very traditional floor plan. We're looking at it in the Stick and Tin Standard Series. But remember, you can also get this if you prefer fiberglass in their Black Label Edition, which gives you not just fiberglass, but the sleek frameless windows, solid surface countertops, a bigger vent fan in the bathroom, and a host of other upgrades and features. Now, like I said, very common floor plan, but Wolf Pup has kind of defined itself as oddly well equipped as compared to most people who build something like this. And the thing is, as they keep adding all this equipment, the RV got a little bit heavier, like it's a little bit over 3,300 pounds empty now. But I noticed they bulked up the axle on this, and this sucker now has cargo carrying capacity just under 2,000 pounds. That's fantastic for a little trailer. That's more than I've seen on some... I've seen a diesel Super C motorhome that has less cargo carrying capacity than this thing right here. So they're doing something right, I think. Now, it's got a cargo bunkhouse, which is kind of a love-hate feature. I personally kind of like them. One, because I could just leave it in cargo bunk mode all the time. I've got, we're a one-and-done kind of household. I've got one kid. We could leave her stationed on the top bunk. I could leave the bottom bunk folded up for cargo. And folding e-bikes can easily fit under there, not to mention a lot of other stuff, whatever you want to put into this thing. And with the cargo carrying capacity they have now, they can actually handle it, which is very, very cool. Also on the outside of the RV, little things like a drunken uncle leash latch, a gas grill quick connect, a roof ladder mount, improved factory solar versus what they had last year, even a little mini fridge outdoors to go along with the big fridge they have inside. A lot of people have a version of a camper like this. I feel this is one of the better executed versions of it out there, but it also means it's probably not the least expensive version of it out there. And it's also got a couple hangups, like some people may not like the bed size. We're going to show you the good with the bad, give you a fair estimation what this one might bring you. If that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, catch us on the next time, and for now, let's get inside there. And I think this is kind of one of those cases of same but different. Like, yeah, it's the same layout, but it's not the same camper. Like, they do, bigger windows all the way around, sealed edge thermofoil countertops. There's still some T-molded stuff out there. If you've been around my channel, you don't hear me talk about that as much anymore, but that's still a thing that some brands are doing. Actually, some bigger laminated brands shocks me. I kind of stumbled into some of them still doing that the other day. They don't do wall mount airs. They only do the roof air. One of the nice things, though, is this is 6.5 foot tall floor to ceiling panel. In this class, there's stuff as low as 6'1", 5 inches shorter. And this thing already has enough trouble for headroom in the shower. Imagine it being 5 inches shorter. It'd basically be unusable. Now, it's got, it's a lot of brands have gone away from stereos. And I'm kind of curious, what do you think about that? Is that a good trend or a bad trend? They're still doing them here, but they are, also including that kind of ceiling subwoofer. Now, let's get some news out of the way. Some kind of bad news, then we'll talk good news. That's a Camp Queen bed. That's just all the Cherokee group uses in these travel trailers is a 60 by 74 short queen approved by the Bed Goblin Union. You notice, though, they build for you, frankly, a pretty nice headboard. I like the little pocket underneath. You've got USB outlets that could kind of share some double duty between the dinette and the bed. I said duty. Anyway, then over here, there's no one else in this class with something like this, unless you start talking like GeoPro or Ember for vastly more money. It's a 1-point inverter. So you have a single inverted household outlet, but you can always use it as a general household outlet when you have park power. You also have high output, 3 and 3.1 amp USB plugs down below there. So if you need to, you can power a single household outlet in this RV straight off the battery. When you're boondocking, for those of you who don't know, that doesn't work. And for those of you who are rolling your eyes that I'm pointing that out, you're not in the Facebook groups that I'm in, and I see people at least once a week say, help, I can't get my camper's plugs to work, and then you find out that they're boondocking in the middle of a cornfield. Well, I don't laugh at them. Nobody told them that, and I want to be the person to try to help educate and, demystify some of that kind of stuff. Now, you saw the big windows overlooking the dinette, but if we look right over here, you see that the door side of this RV actually has some pretty decent window coverage itself. Now, the main entry door is shade prepped. No shade from the factory. They're not throwing shade over here, apparently, but that is an easy thing to overcome. I would tell you this. I still would really love it if you left your feedback on, how you feel about that. But if the only thing you need to take this camper, well, camping, to purchase this thing is a shade in the door, I'm willing to bet we can get a shade slapped in the door. TV hookup space is not fantastic, but I don't know that this little camper is the kind of thing that you're going to be watching TV in all day. Now, both inside and outside, they added this handy little frosting feature right here that will basically display the word Wolf Pup in lighting on the floor. I don't have it ignited right now. On that switch panel over there, you'll find an awning light. That will activate like your stereo accent lights inside, your awning light outside, and then the little lights that say Wolf Pup on the inside or outside of the RV. Will actually broadcast right about there for you. During the day, it doesn't show up fantastically. And I'd be kind of curious, last couple years, Cherokee had a near black wood tone. And they have lightened and brightened things up significantly and gone with like a classic, almost kind of natural wood sort of look about this. What do you think of the color palette that they have going on in here? Also, what is your opinion on the way the kitchen is set up here? Like, circle sink versus square sink versus farm sink. Which one would you go with and why? And I do actually really like that they have only a 2-burner stovetop here in kind of a north-south configuration, or whatever you want to call it, a vertical configuration, because I think it really helps give us at least some countertop prep space. I like the idea of like a bigger, farm sink or something like that, but then I worry about eating into like all of my countertop prep space, and I don't know that you want to necessarily lose all of that either. Now, we'll see in a minute. The dinette can fold down into like an additional sleeper. You may notice how that one cushion's super kitty wampus. There's nothing that really holds it up against that wall. That's probably nothing a little Velcro patch couldn't fix, but it's just kind of is what it is. And what do you think of this? Makes the RV look and feel a little bit bigger, but they go with an open bunk design right here as opposed to a fully enclosed bunk design. And, I don't know, some people don't like the fact that the kids can stare at you. I guess let me point that out there. Now, before we go diving into the next layer of things, you can see how up here we have a light and some USB plugs, and down below a light and some USB plugs. And I think that's awesome. I like it when they treat both bunks the same, because then nobody has to really, fight over it or anything like that. Now, diving a little bit further, that is a folding cargo bunk, and that's just a look at it when it's in cargo mode. I don't know that matters to you, but I just thought I'd kind of display that. Give you a look at the dinette sleeper. There is storage below both the dinette benches. There's also storage in that cabinet overhead, although it's what I call gravity-friendly storage, because the door just drops itself auto-magically. Now, I said some good news, bad news on the bed, then I kind of forgot to come back to the good news. If you want a true queen in this camper, it can fit a true queen. But what it requires is that you have to get rid of that headboard. If you peel that headboard out, and there's no wiring under there's nothing that says you can't do it, and I've actually seen used versions of this where people have done that. If you pull that headboard out or ask us to do that for you, this could fit a 60 by 80 true queen bed, which is kind of handy. And in a way, they kind of give you a little bit of dealer's choice on that. So keep that little nugget in mind. Now, as we look through the kitchen here, I love the big refrigerator. 12-volt compressor fridge, cools really fast, super traveling friendly. Not a single drawer, though, is a bit of a letdown. Like, one drawer would be nice, but hey, it is what it is. So I guess plan accordingly, and I hope you appreciate that I'm willing to point things out and shoot you straight. But another neat little thing over here, almost taking a page out of Coachman's book. Coachman's been doing this for a while. Your draw shade strings for your blinds next to your fire source. If you do nothing with them, they can dangle down and get into your burner. That sucks and that's stupid and that's dangerous. So they've started including this little anchor cleat here where you could screw that stuff down in place. Sometimes it doesn't have to be flashy or fancy. Sometimes it just has to work, and that's one of those cases where simplicity, I think, makes the most sense. Now, the RV is not level. I wanted to have this bathroom door open for us, but that wasn't really in the cards today, apparently. You may notice, I'm going to get you squared right up with this. Notice how the toilet is basically right up next to the bath, the tub, and not near that wall. Well, that actually works out really well. And this is a small camper that has a fairly fluffy, friendly toilet space. Now, by going with a tub, they could go with a shower curtain. And you might notice how the Cherokee group, they do this a lot in their stick and tin campers. They go with what I call a shub. It's, yeah, kind of a tub, but not super duper tall. It's not really hard to step into, but it's deep enough if you wanted to bathe a baby, you could do that. Full shower surround paneling is nice. And I personally like this. I've always been a little bit surprised on how many people really don't like that sink. I don't feel this really gets in the way. I think it's neat that we can wash our bathroom hands in the bathroom without necessarily going to the kitchen. It is fully plumbed in. It doesn't just dribble water like down into the tub onto your feet or something like that. And basically, your shower is also now a sink because you see how it's the single shower head now has dual purposes. I think it's a really smart, efficient design in a little camper like this. I like that it gives me a place to, while I'm showering, I can set my, body wash and shampoo bottles and stuff in there. I think that's kind of handy. What is not handy? Apparently, this RV was designed for people who have suffered from the phrase, off with their heads. Because if you notice, I'm a little over 6 foot tall. If I stand in that thing, it ain't great. And I gotta believe there's like a roof truss or something up there preventing some kind of skylight. I don't know. Because I've seen other brands do it. Maybe it's just a funky little hiccup with this camper. Now, in the standard series, you will get the 4-inch fart fan. But when you go Black Label, you'll get the full-size Fajita Friday fume fighter here in the bathroom area. Or you could get one of these and upgrade the fan if that's the only thing you care about and save a couple bucks. Now, one other thing that's kind of nice here, the RV's got a simple, easy battery disconnect switch right there. And when it is turned off, the solar package will still charge the battery to keep the battery tended, which is great. What's kind of cool about this is when you're done camping, you can just sort of flip it off. Wait. No, that's not what I meant. Now, all these extra features that we're looking at, they're nice, but they do add up to some extra weight. Like, this camper used to weigh like 2,900 pounds empty, and nowadays it's weighing over 3,300 pounds empty, and that's before you add weight with the Black Label edition. What's nice, though, is they didn't let it sit here with like 400 pounds of available cargo capacity. They put a hefty axle under this sucker, and this has nearly a 5,600 pound GVW, which translates into nearly 2,000 pounds of cargo capacity. What that means, though, is that you need something with at least a moderate tow package to handle this. Like the old minivan, I don't care if you got like the, some people are going to say, well, I've got the minivan that's got like a 3,750 pound tow rating. You're telling me that I can't tow one of these? And I'm going to tell you that I don't recommend it, because the maximum weight of this with cargo will exceed your maximum safe capacities. And frankly, even the dry weight of this, I think, is pushing the limit too much. So, you're going to want something, I'd say probably at least 6,000 pound tow rating and above, which knocks out things like Honda Ridgelines, but it does leave a lot of potential tow package mid-size pickups still in the mix, like the Ford freaking Ranger. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. Gas Grill Quick Connect and things like front and rear stabilizers. Not only that, not just stabilizers, they're using the nicer Quick Drop stabilizer, which is awful darn handy. And I tried to do something cute. I tried to open that baggage door with my hand over the camera. Unfortunately, it was locked, so stand by. Now, I want to circle back on something I just said, the Quick Drop stabilizers. If you're not familiar with those things, first of all, they are actually strong enough where if you do have like one of those 18-volt impact drills and a hex nut adapter, you can use it on those without breaking them. Now, they're not intended to be levelers, they're stabilizers. There is a difference there. They're not intended to change the plane of the RV. But they also have an additional bar that drops down to provide basically extra stability so that, especially in a little single axle camper, it's hard to get single axle stable, and they're doing a better job of that here. Because if you've never had a camper, if you're a first timer, you don't know any different, you will definitely find a little bit lighter weight and dollar cheaper camper out there with the very same floor plan. So you're like, I don't know the differences, so I guess I'm not going to spend more money than I have to. There's a reason they do what they do on these, and think that, whoa, sorry, I just saw something. This is the weirdest place for a black tank flush I think I've ever seen. I like that they have a black tank flush, but that is the weirdest spot for one I think I've ever seen. Sorry, squirrel moment there. Okay. The mirrors here, or mirrors, the windows are mirrored. I guess they're kind of mirrors in that sense. Give you a little bit of privacy right there. They show some fingerprints, but man, they look good when they're clean. And, you know, if you're going to do outside speakers, I like that they put them where they're not so high that it's worthless, and even a little handy outside TV hookup point. Pardon me. They do also have, you know, full awning lighting, which is kind of cool. And down there in the bottom corner of the camper, on the skirt metal, you see the little drunken uncle leash latch right there. I guess you can hook a pet up to those. I don't know, that's weird, but apparently they have multiple uses. I'm not sure. We are prepped and ready for one of those telescopic removable ladders. These have had a walk-on roof for a long time, but you never really knew it because there wasn't an easy way to get up there that was really factory sponsored. A lot of brands have started decontenting. They're not doing things like putting that cargo rack on the back right there or a spare tire, and you can see that they're still doing all of those things here. That's kind of one of the things that I really like and really respect out of this brand. They're doing a lot of the big things and the features of an 8-foot wide camper down in a 7-foot wide smaller platform without really cutting corners. It's as much of the same equipment as they could possibly put into it. Now this has a folding cargo bunk, and I've got the bunk flipped up out of the way right now, the little move bunk get out the way. And one of the things I want to address, kind of freaks some people out, that there's sometimes a door right by the bunks. Well, remember that you do have a deadbolt right here. Just kind of, you know, add some security and peace of mind. That's basically just a smaller version of your primary entry door. Now, on camera like this, I don't know that I can give you a really good grasp and representation of the depth of that. What I do know is that I have personally test loaded my folding electric e-bike into a Wolf Pup, a 16BHS Wolf Pup, exactly like we're looking at right here. And I think you can fit 2 of them in there. That is a very nice chunk of cargo space. And if you don't need the bottom bunk, like my household, we're 3 people. Unless my daughter brings a friend, I don't even need to flip the bottom bunk up. I could use the bottom bunk mattress on the top bunk to just kind of give my daughter a little more comfort. Or I could get her a foam top or whatever, you know, whatever works there. Now, if we look up top here, you're going to see a couple things. Some people sometimes ask me, what is that little black thing on the roof? That is a prep point for like a Wi-Fi router type system. And they've now outfitted these with 100-watt solar panels. Last year they were 50s only, and they've improved the charge controller. Now, 100-watt solar package is still not the be-all, end-all of solar by any stretch of the imagination. But you can actually get an additional 100-watt panel straight from the factory, which starts to be something a little more significant. And you know those little portable panels, the suitcase panels that sometimes plug in the side of the trailer? Did you know you can just as easily hook those straight to the battery? So if you need to, you could also park in the shade, get a portable panel, and chase the sun with that. And wouldn't you know, we've got all those accessories in on the shelf. But like I've said a bunch of times, they're not the only ones that build a layout like this. Check the links in the video description. I'll have some links in there if you want to see where we have one of these parked and what we're asking on a given day. It'll be right there for you. And if you want to see who else builds this, like Jayco does a good version, Rockwood does a good version. Plenty of different people do nice campers like this. I'll leave some there. Or what if you want double over double bunks? You want the bigger bunks. Check out the Salem Wildwood FSX 179 that I'll also leave you a link for, assuming I don't forget. Now that I've ran my mouth, I better remember. Only about a 50-50 shot of me making that happen, though. So it's like, my wife will say, did you take out the trash? And I'm like, yeah. And I meant to, and then I forget. Anybody else do that? Maybe just me? I don't know. Until next time, thanks once again for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.